welcome to Dungeons, Dragons, and Dungeons. I'm your co-host, Dylan.
And I'm the other co-host, Nathan. Dylan, what are we doing?
This episode is all about Dungeons, Dragons, and Dungeons.
But I started this to talk about stuff, things, and stuff.
But this is the special episode.
Oh, okay, just like you.
Oh.
I'm joking, I'm sorry. Continue.
It's okay, but I'm excited because this episode is going to be all about everyone's favorite tabletop RPG.
Call of Cthulhu?
I thought we were doing Warhammer.
It's not a tabletop RPG.
It's not an RPG, it's a tabletop.
Exactly.
Magic the Gathering.
Uh-huh.
Because that's also an RPG.
Is it an RPG?
No, it's called Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
Same universe.
Right. Yeah.
You have Strixhaven.
I know.
For those wondering, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop RPG.
Can you tell them what a tabletop RPG is?
A tabletop RPG is a game you play.
What's a game? Tell them.
A form of entertainment you experience.
What is entertainment?
Fun.
What is fun?
Stop. It's
Right? Right?
Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
That it is.
Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop RPG set typically in the fantasy world of the Forgotten Realms.
That's the worst definition of D&D I've ever heard of.
I wasn't done. I was just looking for your approval of the Forgotten Realms.
Well, I mean, it's the Forgotten Realms like 1% of the time.
5th edition.
Right.
100% of the time.
Except for Eberron.
That's an expansion.
Yes.
So is every book.
Yep.
But Eberron's a 3rd edition thing that they brought forward.
Exactly.
Okay. Dungeons and Dragons is a
which
tabletop
shares a universe with Magic the Gathering, which is not.
Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop RPG where you roll dice with your friends, make characters, fight monsters, collect loot, and have a fun adventure.
Right.
We play it every other Saturday.
That's true.
Including the Saturday after this episode goes up.
Right.
You just remembered, didn't you?
Yep. I'm tired, alright?
It's okay.
Good thing it's later in the day. You did wake me up. Should we talk about that real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
I was taking a nap, and I forgot that Dylan was coming over to record this episode.
Yep. And keep in mind, I texted him. Oh, shoot, we need to talk about what I texted you.
We'll talk about that after this.
I had work today. Got off work, got Subway, and then came here and woke him up.
Well, my mom is like, "Are you still asleep?" Because Dylan's here. And I was like, "Dylan's here?" Oh, that's right. How long have I been asleep? It was a while. The answer was a while. Like, I slept for like 2 hours now that I think about it. No, it was an hour and a half.
She looked at me and went, "Yeah, he's awake, but he did that mouth thing. You know that thing where you wipe your mouth after you wake up because you've probably been drooling?"
Mm-hmm.
That's what I picture. I just picture you going, "Yeah, I'm awake," and then rubbing your mouth and looking at your hand and going, "Okay."
I mean, I was awake when she asked me. How often is the answer to, "Are you awake?" No.
Pretty often. In my house, at least.
That's fair, that's fair. Seeing as I've been someone who has said, "No, I'm not awake." Anyways, D&D.
No, before we continue with D&D, I texted you 2 words.
Right.
Would you mind going through our messages and telling them what those 2 words were?
Yeah, what were the words? Let me see.
It's not, "I'm here," or "I'm on my way."
It's not, "I get off at 7.
It's not that.
It's
not 2 words.
It's cheese dream.
Cheese dream. Cheese dream.
Yeah,
Would you like to know what that meant?
Sure.
Because all you said was, "Excuse me, what?" And I almost replied with yes. Because my 2 options, because my phone gives like, "Oh, you can auto-respond to make it easy on you,"
right,
was yes and no. The temptation to say yes.
Right.
So my manager, we were talking about dreams and stuff, and he goes, Yeah, no, I've only had like this one dream that reoccurs, and I've had it at least 30 times in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
Every house he's ever been in, right? He's had this dream.
Huh.
He wakes up in the dream, gets out of his bed, looks at his bed. It's made of cheese. The floors made of cheese. The walls made of cheese. He reaches for his cheese doorknob to open his cheese door. In every house he's ever been in, he goes to the fridge, which is also made of cheese, just like his entire house. He opens it. Guess what's in the fridge?
Is it cheese?
More cheese.
No.
I know this is a nightmare for you because you don't really like cheese.
I don't like cheese too much.
He turns on the sink. You know what comes out of the cheese sink? Liquid cheese.
Liquid cheese is edible.
But he opens... We're not talking about that. He opens the fridge that's made of cheese. No. It's just the fact that you like liquid cheese more than normal cheese. I thought you were about to yell at me. You just yawned.
Oh, no.
For our audio listeners, because we have no video listeners.
Last time Hayden kept going. For you audio listeners at home.
For the people at home, love you guys to death.
Yeah. Also, this cheese dream definitely feels like something Hayden would tell.
I know, right? But it was my manager, who's 28.
Right.
Or 26, I don't remember. He's 20-something.
He's...
No, he's 20... Oh.
You never watched Gravity Falls, did you?
Not really.
I just remember them saying 2012 as like a year in the future. And I found that really funny because it's set in 2012 because that's when it began.
Yeah.
And they have characters from the future. And...
I'm not gonna ask.
Time travel.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Oh,
that's smart of saying 2012 because it never gets dated.
Never happens, yeah. So there's like an, you know an Enya?
No.
The N with the squiggly mark?
Yeah. Wait, above it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It had that over like one of the zeros. 2012. I think it was 200 with that marking. I don't know what it's actually called, and then 12.
I'd say an umlaut, but that's 2 dots.
Umlaut is 2 dots, yeah.
Oh, you said that different. My Americanese did not like that. Anyways.
Yeah.
But like when I say he opens the fridge that's made of cheese to find more cheese. By the way, I was dying laughing as he was explaining this.
Right.
Because I just imagine waking up. Imagine you have a dream, right? And you wake up and you're like, shit, cheese again. You know how annoying that must be? Anyways, he opens the fridge that's made of cheese to find bags made of cheese filled with shredded cheese.
Ugh.
Wheels of cheese.
Right.
Jugs made of cheese filled with cheese.
Right?
I don't know how else to explain the funniness in this situation to me. The hilarity, that's the word. But I don't know why I was dying laughing. Was not expecting my 20-something-year-old manager with a full beard, glasses. Just I don't know. I was not expecting that cheese dream.
Cheese dream. You like, yeah. You
Sounds like a nightmare. Because he's lactose intolerant, too. That's what made it funnier. See?
That's pretty funny, yeah. Dungeons and Dragons.
Back to the dungeon episode.
Yeah.
Starring Dragon. That's a different episode.
Yep.
You have to be legal for us to talk about that.
That's true.
I have to be illegal for us to talk about that. In all states.
Let's move on to dragons.
Okay. Dungeons?
No.
Oh, just dragons?
Just dragons.
No, we need to explain what Dungeons and Dragons is for our listeners.
What have we been doing?
Describing dragons and dungeons. Not Dungeons and Dragons. Completely different. Anyways, you roll dice. You hit things. You do things. There's a plethora of creatures or monsters. Plethora of weapons and magic. And infinite creativity.
That's right. Buy your local Player's Handbook for D&D today.
Ka-ching. We actually have a local shop that I am going to recommend. It is called Glorious Geeks. It is the best place to go for anything Dungeons and Dragons. They are specifically a D&D shop.
Yeah, it's
If
cool.
you don't have anything, go there. That is a great place to start. They have, I'm pretty sure most, if not all, the books.
I think they do.
Yeah, and they're the right price. If you get on his Patreon, he gives you a discount because it's like being like, a supporter. You also can buy terrain, which is the stuff that you put on the table to set your scenes. That's a good way of explaining that, right?
Yeah, kind of.
How would you explain terrain?
I mean, it makes D&D more of a board game. It's like it's the terrain. It's what your little
like hills or not valleys.
Yeah,
but
you got
valleys.
You got your little
your
figures
caves.
of your characters or whatever, and you move them around, and because each square is like 5 feet, and you can only move so far, or like you can only shoot an arrow from a bow so far.
It helps you put tactics into your game and make it more immersive and I would say challenging. Because I feel like
I can see that.
I feel like doing theater of the mind, which is when you have nothing on a table and you just roll dice, and the dungeon master, game master, or storyteller tells you what happens. Some people call it storyteller, but they're wrong.
I think it's only like but they're wrong.
They are. I mean, yes, they tell the story, but
never give this episode to your brother.
No, because we're talking about D&D. He would never listen anyways.
You're right.
He also doesn't care.
You're right.
No, my brother is okay. I love my brother.
Right.
But
yep.
He has to be right.
Yeah.
We're not naming my brother, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Just
I
didn't think you would. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. I'm saying that mostly so I don't name my brother. But that guy. No, so here's his thing. If you don't, if he doesn't like how you're doing things, he just won't. He'll be like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Which is annoying and frustrating.
Oh yeah.
And leads to arguments. I was like, I want to do that thing that nobody likes, where I make a character that doesn't fit at all because he's from a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
And
shut up, Discord.
Do you want to plug in the headphones?
Yeah. Shut up, Discord. Shut up.
Where are your headphones? Hold on. Had it.
Go. Yeah.
And we're in. Anyways.
I'm in.
So, what was it? I wanted to do Master Chief in a Star Wars game, and he was like, I want to play with you. I was like, okay. Master Chief's a rank in Star Wars. He was like, no. And then my other friend, I was like, hey, would you be down to run a Star Wars game? And he was like, yeah, sure. I was like, can I be Master Chief? He said, that sounds sick, yes. I was like, sweet. I was in a Halo phase.
Oh, yeah.
I was in a Halo mood. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I played Link in a D&D game once, and with my brother once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's put it that way. It was fine, because he wasn't running it.
Right.
Yeah. My dad enjoyed it. He was like, that's cool. At first, my dad was like, I don't like that, you do this, Dylan, because, like, the point is to make your own character and, have an adventure with that character. But the way I get into games is excuse my voice crack. The way I get into games is I make a character that exists, and I can be like, okay, I like this. I'm gonna try to abide by these rules, but make this character. So like Link from The Legend of Zelda was my first D&D character. Was my first World of Darkness character. Believe it or not, I started World of Darkness before D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And is basically like, all right, well, I'm playing a game. I'm gonna make Link real quick. And I do that, and that's how I get into games. And I know other people are like, well, I'm going to make an original character. And I'm like, oh, dude, that sounds sick, too. But my whole thing is, I don't know, I just enjoy making Goku. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, they give me the tools.
We've had this conversation, but I'll never understand that.
Really?
It's like, I'm given free reign to make my own story.
Mm-hmm.
My own character. Something original. something that's my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I know, like, you end up making it your own.
No, yeah, because Link doesn't really have a personality other than,
Right.
well, courage.
But you didn't make Link.
Exactly.
No matter how much you change him.
Mm-hmm.
If you call yourself Link and you not necessarily even base it off of Link, but if you're Link,
To a T.
and you'll openly admit, hey, I'm Link from The Legend of Zelda, that's not Dylan's creation. That's... I did a whole project on him.
An autobiography.
No. Who's that? Who created Link?
Oh, wait, Shigeru Miyamoto?
Shigeru Miyamoto. I did a whole project on him in 5th grade.
Oh, mine was Walt Disney.
Oh, very cool.
It wasn't 5th grade, it was
Yeah,
3rd.
Miyamoto
Yeah.
created Link. You didn't. No offense.
I'm not offended because I did not, believe it or not, guys, create Link and gals and all in between or on the outside, whatever you want to be.
But-
Fantasies.
But it kind of ruins it for me. Like, I'll be so... Like, I was talking to you, I watched Doctor Who. Like, I got into Doctor Who.
Right.
And I was like, I love his personality. I love the way he's very snappy, very... thinks himself
Quippy.
better than everyone, quippy, can get out of
Cocky.
any situation, knows that he's better, so acts like he's better,
Right.
smart,
I
you know,
remember this
like,
conversation.
and he's charismatic, you know,
Right.
and well, he's kind of socially awkward sometimes, but
He's too smart for his own good.
exactly. But I never thought, oh, I want to play Matt Smith's Doctor
Yeah.
from Doctor Who, where I have my TARDIS and I'm transported into the world. Like it's a mishap with the TARDIS and I
Mhm.
dimension hopped or whatever. Which cool, I guess, but I'll never be Matt Smith
Yeah.
or whatever. Also, to make it easy on the play or on the DM, I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, I have the TARDIS now.
Oh, yeah, I've never tried pulling that stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. But I would love to play a character that's very smart, kind of socially awkward, but also really cool
Nim.
in his own kind of.
Well, he's not cool.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a failed merchant with a failed food truck
Yeah.
cart.
Just call it a food truck. It's fine.
There's no cars in my fantasy world, Nathan.
It's not your fantasy world. It's Jason's.
So about that.
Oh
Might be mine.
boy. Still, you
No,
can
I get it.
you can just call it a truck.
It's true.
Yeah, it's that part of the skateboard. No, but I'll
They're
never.
trucks.
No. I'll never play Doctor Who.
Shit, wait. No, that's because you refer to it in plural. Okay, sorry. Before someone schools us in the comment section.
Comment section.
I don't know.
YouTube.
We're not posting this on
I got a
YouTube.
bad past.
You have good videos. What are you talking about?
I got like 2 good videos.
Oh, yeah, I know.
No, but I would love to play a character similar to Doctor Who in those aspects. Maybe even some traveler or member of some distant race or like last of his species kind of thing.
Do you want to something funny?
What?
Kind beat you to it.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because you haven't seen his character. You've just
Yeah.
seen like how he works in combat.
Yeah.
Which that's another thing is there's combat and then there's roleplay, and if you're uncomfortable with roleplay when it comes to D&D, you're.
Get a new hobby.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was just gonna say you're not gonna have as much fun as the people who are into roleplay.
Yeah.
So honestly, get into roleplay,
Yeah.
which sounds like ooh, that sounds NSFW, but it's you're playing a character.
Brighton Gorian. I'm a barbarian. A dwarf barbarian who just I fight things. You gotta be happy. And interactions like that, where you play a dumb character, even if you play serious characters, sometimes those are nice. Nice.
Darren Axborn.
Sometimes serious characters and serious interactions with characters are fun. And sometimes you got really stupid characters and really stupid interactions, and
Like
those are fun as
Grognak,
well.
attorney at law, the dwarf barbarian who rides a horse wearing a top hat.
Interesting.
This was a real character.
So anyways,
I didn't make this character for
I
obvious
know
reasons.
you play Goku.
No, I have made an original character. I think you forget about that
No,
often
I know.
because you never played side by side with me when I did that.
Played side by side with you. You've been on the other side of the table.
I forget. I'm always the one who's rolling too many dice to count, with a laptop and a notebook in front of me, going, "That's gonna hurt you."
Yeah. Yeah. Then it never hurts me because I'm unkillable. I'm gonna die in the next session.
You are actually going to die in the next session. I'm warning you now.
What are you gonna do? Call lightning on the bird that has call lightning?
No. Call Lightning is a spell. Was it 4th level?
It's 3rd level.
Call Lightning is a 3rd level spell where you summon a storm cloud and then shoot lightning bolts out of it at your enemies or allies if you're mean.
Yeah, I'll shoot at my allies.
Well, I mean, if they're like, "Hey, I need to do more lightning damage," you're like, "I'll shoot you."
Yeah, but I mean, so D&D, your knuckle cracks really show up.
I see that.
Oh, we've done better not peaking the audio today.
Hey, you want? I'm not gonna say let's fix that.
Ah!
Ah! You scared me. That's you and that's me. Oh, the audio looks great.
Anyways, D&D it's how I describe it is basically you've got your DM, who's the person who builds the world and creates the stories and the conflicts for the players to live in, and the conflicts that they
The
they
dungeon
overcome.
master, which is DM,
Yeah.
who writes, if they aren't doing a module, which is a pre-written story.
Even if they do a module, then they can write more things.
That's true. I was gonna say they basically write the story. They write what happens, and they can, if you're lazy, write what happens with your character in the past, which has led you to here, and your character's backstory.
But you can follow that on the. You can. Oftentimes, whenever it comes to background, players and DMs can work together.
Yeah, no,
Unless it's like,
lot
I
of
don't
this-
remember my background.
A lot of the time, players will be like, "Hey, can you make me a background?" And I'll be like, "Here's 3 sentences, Sarah. This is your background."
I've always made my backgrounds. They never sometimes they're not good, but I've always made them. And my friend, my old group, would always make them.
I love when backgrounds just perfectly fit like a puzzle piece into the DM's pre-established world.
I mean, well, that's one thing is that you've got to work with your DM to intertwine your character's backstory with the world. Because I have a fully homebrew campaign, and I'll lay out basic world building for people, and they can be like, "Oh yeah, I want to be a snow elf from the north, or a forest dwarf from this one town, or oh yeah, I want to be a genasi from the gambling safe haven of crime, or I want to be a gnome from the gnome town in the capital of this country,
right,
or whatever." So I give these basics of each area that anyone would really know. So they can be like, "Oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to be that one," or "Oh okay," and then we can delve deeper into their backstory, know the specifics, and I take their backstory and just throw it in at points. I hate it. I had a friend who
that's why I like your backstory, because you were like, this is this character's backstory, and you had it planned out. Given, I don't know if you made that for the tournament he was made for.
I don't think so.
Or if you made that for my campaign.
Sometimes I'll admit I'll play characters that don't have backstories whenever I begin.
Right.
But I come up with a backstory after we start, which I can understand if that's annoying.
If players do that, that's one thing, and I think that's pretty much expected. Hey, after by session 3, give me a backstory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As long as you're not upset with it, because
No.
I can come up with a backstory before playing the character. It's just whenever I go into games for the first time, I have this character.
Yeah.
I have generally what I think they'll be like, and then I
take it from there.
Yeah.
That's one gripe with my dad's game. Is characters never have a shining point. And love my dad to death for obvious reasons. He's my dad, and we kindle our joys in comics and D&D off of each other a lot of the time. He used to love comics, and he sold his whole collection.
Right.
Because he started collecting in the 90s. And then I gave him all my comics that came with my figures when I was like 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him back into comics. No, I was 11. And now he has a comic collection worth over $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And for Christmas, I bought him a $400 miniature for D&D with the help of my mom, my brother, and me and my dad's friend. But my dad's campaign feels, and it's not entirely his fault because you have to adhere to what all the players want to do. Because, like, when you have one player who's like, hey, I just want to shoot and kill stuff because that's what I enjoy the most in this game.
Right.
And you have other players who are like, I really like interaction and roleplay, and that's what I come here to do.
Yeah.
You have a clash.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the role player is the easier one to be like, hey, we're going to do combat more than we are roleplay. And they'll probably be like, oh, okay. But the murder hobo, because that is the term for them,
Yeah.
might leave after session 2.
I mean, I find whenever it's mainly combat or dungeon delve, I still find ways to squeeze character or roleplay into both combat and just existing.
The issue is we don't do that in our game. Because if you try to, it feels like my dad cuts you off if you try to. Because there are 8 of us.
Right.
Which is a lot.
Yes.
And
looks at our group.
Well, now our group is 8. Good thing this is going up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because and none of the people who don't know or in the know about the podcast.
Yep.
All 3 people. Sarah, Jason, and Jan David.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, we're including a new person, but it's a mystery man.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What was I?
We were talking about my dad's game.
Right.
And so, like, I play Spider Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, he's literally just a knight who wears Spider-Man themed armor.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, every character I play has the same morals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I just built this character from the ground up.
Okay.
Would you give me that or no?
I'd have to think about it.
Because it's not like I'm playing Spider-Man.
Right.
In a modern day setting.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm playing... I don't even know.
No, yeah.
Like the Black Knight. Like
yeah.
Spider Knight, who I didn't read the comic he was in, and the version from the show is not what I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like, oh, yeah, I know Merlin the Wizard, and I have a really light set of armor that makes no sound when I run, and I have a blade that comes out of my gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, I think my main problem is often the naming of characters after other characters.
Oh, no, I get it.
Even though, like, sometimes I'll just be like, yeah, there's an Arby's in games.
See?
Which I know is very hypocritical, but it's like...
It's a little different.
It's like, sometimes there's a comedic placement for real-life names.
Right. In
games, and then there's I'm playing Link from Legend of Zelda, which can also be funny sometimes, but I don't know, it feels different and off.
When we play a game together, I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. But like I don't know.
But I get it. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay." And when I showed up to a game one time playing Link, I showed up in costume,
right,
with my miniature, which is a 3D printed model of Link.
Yeah.
And then the first time I went to below, because I think I had like 18 hit points because I was a bard. I think the first time I went to 5 hit points or 3, right, I started playing the low hard sound, and everybody lost their minds because it was funny.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the
It's probably just the naming and the spot on. Just that's Link. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of the name, the appearance, and possibly some of the personality, or just like
which I get it.
Heroics or sort of your build is kind of based off of it.
Yeah, most of my characters, I think all my characters actually, use a sword, a shield, and are a hero.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I listened to a podcast called Dungeons and Dads, which I would recommend.
Right. Check it out on Spotify.
It is on Spotify. It's on more things than we're on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're on.
2 things, which is Apple Podcast and Spotify.
I wasn't sure if we were on 3, so thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, you're welcome. But
I'm your co-host.
they just recently started their second second campaign, which is connected to the first campaign, which is really cool. But it's an entirely different setting because, and I could talk about this podcast for hours, but one of the players plays a character named Taylor Swift, but it's not at all
the singer,
country blonde-haired woman singer. He's a teenager, a male teenager who is like a nice guy, anime obsessed person who thinks he's the protagonist in the whole story, and is very, I'm the protagonist.
He's Sonic.
Yeah, but like he doesn't do that heavy of a voice, but he's got that twinge of, yeah, I'm better than you.
Cocky.
Yeah, I got my cane sword.
Oh.
He's that kid.
The comic shop sells those.
Does
it has 4 cane swords? I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They're kind of cool.
I'm sure they are. But
anyways,
but
moving
like
on to how uncool his cane sword is.
But like he's a completely original character.
He just so happens to have the name Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he'll occasionally like be called Taylor Swift, but oftentimes it's just, oh look, it's Taylor.
Right.
I think Link kind of has that association that's very, oh, it's Link.
Yeah.
But I mean, for like your Sir Peter Parker or whatever it is,
it's just Spider Knight.
Yeah, they often is that only what they refer to you as.
That's the only thing they know me as.
Exactly.
My character has not explained his backstory.
Exactly. I could understand if they were like, oh yeah, Peter, like but Spider Knight, Right. And I forget how did I forget what character he played in the first game?
Was it the Druid Dad? Who has 47 condoms to make sure he has plenty of water?
Even I don't remember that.
That's the first episode.
Is it?
Yeah, he's a druid. Okay, hold on. This gets weird because the way I just explained that. He's a druid, and by that I mean he's a very eco-friendly.
Yeah.
What is it?
He's a
tree hugger, basically.
He's a granola bunch and Birkenstock rockin' hippie nature druid dad. Yeah. Is how he describes himself.
And he carries, I think it's a full box of condoms. Because each condom can hold like over, how much water can a condom hold? Like
I don't know.
I think it's like 8 gallons. And he says that, and everyone's like, "Oh, wow!" and starts laughing because they didn't know that. And he's like, "I'm not kidding. That is a thing he does."
I have not listened to the first episode in literal years.
I started listening to it at the car wash, and I was like, "Man, I'm gonna fall asleep because this is interesting." But I'm supposed to be like hyper.
Right. Yeah.
Because I work at a car wash.
Yeah.
And if you're tired, a car's gonna go again.
So they got Daryl Wilson, Henry Oak, Ron Stampler. What's the last guy's name?
Something.
I think it's a play on an actor. Here, talk
Flynn
about
Errol Flynn.
I know the actor's name is Freddie.
Benson.
Freddie Wong. Dungeons and Dads.
No, but like my thing with D&D is I make characters from existing media, and I'm like, how can I fit this into this world?
It's Glenn Close. And then Morgan Freeman was his wife. And then
I forget Morgan can be a girl's name, half a guy's name. Oh, yeah. Shoot. I know more guys named Morgan than... Nope, I know an equal amount.
Go close. Who's his grandparent? Continue.
Anyways. So, like, when I play, let's say, Link, his personality does not really exist in the games, except for he's sometimes cocky.
Right.
With the text options you get in Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. So I'm like, alright, but I'm also cocky.
Right.
So I play my character kind of cocky. Because when I played him... So recently I played him as a bard. And a bard, for the viewers who do not know, or listeners, whatever. You can view with your ears. A bard is a caster, which means they use magic, who relies on music or performance, right?
It's just art in general.
Is it just art?
Yeah. You can play like a painter, and it will be a bard. You can play a speaker, and it's a bard.
An entertainer.
Yeah.
Typically an entertainer.
It's, well, I mean, like, even lore or whatever, those are just researchers. Those are just, like,
True.
like, lore. They study, and they talk, and they write. Writing is one of them. Poetry, you know.
That's
It's really
weird.
It's really anything you want it to be.
They're flavorful casters who are typically the one who's like, I'm going to seduce the dragon. But I never played my character like that. My character was actually a badass. Unintentionally. Because he was also the joke of the group. But I played Link, and I gave him a long sword. I didn't give him a shield, because he couldn't hold one. But I gave him, I don't think my Link dual-wielded yet. But he became a dual wielder, and he relied on magic. But he was cocky, and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do a wild plan. I'm gonna do this wild thing because I'm also stubborn." And Link is not like that. In the cartoon, no, that is not an argument anyone's allowed to make. You cannot bring up the Zelda cartoon in a debate, because Link in that is just he's a douche.
Yeah.
My Link is never a douche.
I remember watching the Super Mario Super Show, and like that coming on during like the
trailer for
yeah.
Link! It's the second piece of the Triforce. All two pieces of the Triforce.
The Triforce.
Yeah, there's the Triforce of Wisdom, and then there's the one of Power. Ganon has Power. Zelda has Wisdom. That's all two pieces of the Triforce.
Yeah, you know.
Tri meaning two.
Yeah.
Not three.
Of course.
Like a triangle.
No,
all two sides.
Yeah.
Of the Triforce.
It's like a line.
It's all. Imagine Zelda opens up the door to the room, and it's just like a pedestal and then a line sitting on top of it. Not a floating, glowing green triangle, which they also did that wrong.
Oh. Anyway.
Oh boy, smooching time!
Going way back
To the 90s?
to talking about backgrounds.
Right.
There was some unfinished thing that I never got to say, but I forgot what it is. Backgrounds. Sometimes you just throw it to your DM, but oftentimes, if you work in tandem to mix it into the campaign, then that's really nice, you know?
Yeah, me and Kyan spent literally every day we're talking about it.
Yeah. It's cool. And whenever it comes to like my campaigns are purely set in my own world. So I can both shape my world around my players while also shaping my players around the world. And it's really nice. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but we moved on and I can't remember. So I apologize.
No, but that actually reminds me. I think the coolest yet most unoriginal thing I did was I played, Link, because I was going through it in a 3.5 setting that my dad's friend, Dan the Man, was running. Shout out to him, because this was a really cool setting. It's a world where magic is frowned upon due to a disaster that had happened.
I had a world like that.
Really?
That's what my...
Excuse me.
Spoiler alert for you who would have played in the campaign. Yeah, this was my homebrew that I was thinking of running with like you and Ben Hayden. You guys would have been set a couple years or whatever. Spoilers again. Spoilers. What? You would be set a couple years prior to this big disaster, which takes place in the most southern country, where it just basically imploded on itself, and
oh shit, that's exactly.
The country north of it went, well, for the first 3 years, I think, the king did nothing, but everyone was freaking out, and they were like, well, and I should mention that the southern country was very magically advanced and used magic a ton. So they were like, magic caused it. Magic caused it. We gotta outlaw magic. And so after 3 years, the king was finally like, okay, to appease you guys, we'll ban magic. And so that's been a big thing about the campaign, is that magic is banned in that country, which is where the campaign takes place. So they gotta like sneak around and do stuff. Also, one of my friends got his warlock powers, like multi-classed into warlock, and his first idea was, yeah, let's just shoot Eldritch Blast all around the city, killing people. And so that happened. I probably should have caused more repercussions, but I was just like, they're just gonna, let's just let them leave. But yeah, that campaign takes 5 plays after that disaster.
5 plays?
5 years, sorry.
Wow, you're tired.
Yeah, I am.
Oh. No, but the one I was in, I caused it.
Oh. Okay.
And I was somehow the only survivor and the only one who managed to escape.
Well, so
which comes straight from a Zelda manga.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I was like, I am so immersed.
One idea that popped into my brain was having the party, like you, Hayden, and Ben,
right,
cause the destruction.
Oh, jeez.
Like you be the reason, because no one knows the reason.
Right.
But also,
that would have been cool.
I'd find it really fun if some of my old group like came down here, and like we got some of the parties together.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
And it was like, you've both had your 2 separate giant adventures. Now you've got to help bring it back or whatever.
Ken of the game shop did that.
Did he? Okay.
He did. Well, it was a weird thing. He did this huge event that he had scheduled like 5 weeks in advance for people to sign up to show up to with any level 10 character. And it's you in a room with a couple other players fighting a Tarrasque. And there'd be 4 DMs, 4 rooms, and he had his party that he'd been running the campaign with, and then all the other people who showed up, because what it is it's you defending a city from 4 Tarrasques or whatever, because in the plot they were doing something with wands, and it summoned Tarrasques each time to the planet.
It's very cool.
From the planet of the Tarrasques.
I like that. Yeah.
Which was cool, but it was an all combat thing. So
yeah. It's still cool. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel exactly about combat half the time, because half the time when I'm like, I'm doing combat again, I feel bad. But
well, I mean, obviously I much prefer roleplay over combat. And oftentimes in the past I've made it so that my characters aren't very good at combat.
Right.
Because that's okay, it's not necessarily fun if there's a lot of combat, because like I just sit there and like whack someone with a quarterstaff,
right, and
I'm not a monk, so I just deal like a d8 damage and then I'm done, unless I'm feeling spicy and I have an extra attack.
But you never play fighters.
More than one class has extra attack.
I know. I meant martial classes. You played a barbarian. I'll shut up.
Some of my... Okay, so let me think. You haven't played with these characters, but like my top 3 characters go Barbarian, Artificer, Battlesmith. So like a melee attacker. Yeah. And then Sorcerer. So 2 of those are martial classes.
That's true. Okay.
Just my Artificer was very underpowered. So it was difficult, but like I made them
strength.
I made them bad at what they do for a reason, because it makes it more interesting.
No, I agree. I think when something goes wrong, it's awesome.
Yeah.
For me. Because you guys suck.
Oh yeah.
I hate you guys.
Yeah. That banishment.
Okay. For everyone who doesn't know, which is everyone, I ran a test thing because I didn't know how much I had to throw at a group for it to be a challenge. I would say I did pretty well.
Right.
I threw this thing called a Draco Hydra, which, if you know what a Hydra is, because you read Greek mythology or you watched Hercules by Disney from the 80s, it's a monster that every time you cut off its head to grow back, and it looks kind of like a dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you took a dragon and mixed it with a hydra, which is quite literally the lore behind Draco Hydra.
Right.
This is an arcane mishap. So I throw this thing at him, and this thing could freaking destroy them because they're on an airship. They have nowhere to go except down. And this dude, this Birdman,
Yeah, what's up?
says, "All right, guys, bad idea or worse idea?" And everyone goes, "Whatever doesn't kill you." And you
I
go,
said dumb idea or dumbest idea.
"Yeah." That is exactly the words you said. It's dumb idea or dumbest idea. And it took 7 minutes?
It was a good amount of time.
It was a good chunk of minutes between, is it going to kill you? Probably. Don't do it. Well, dumb idea or dumbest idea? And them going, whatever doesn't kill you. And you're like, all right, dumb idea or dumbest idea? Because they were both going to get you killed potentially.
Yeah.
And then you remembered you could fly.
And then I remember I could fly after I did this next thing.
So, you explain it.
So,
because you're awful.
this Draco Hydra, right? Flying next to the boat, this airship that we're on. And
literally a boat with a hot air balloon.
And prior in the combat, I activated my ring of jumping, which allows me to cast jump on myself as a bonus action. And so I run up to the side of the boat. Dylan here goes, "Are you going to jump on the Hydra?" And I go, "Yes. Yes, I am." So I jump onto the Hydra.
Because the reason I said it so excited, I can't remember if was I excited?
It was disappointment.
It was disappointment. Was I don't remember. Are you gonna jump on the dragon? I'm gonna jump on the dragon. That was your response.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you like that is because that's my thing. I've made art of my Link on top of a dragon stabbing it, which actually happened in a game later that week.
Oh, okay.
Not intentional. And then it happened again a couple years later. Bards.
And so with my 40 feet of jump distance, I didn't use all of it, but I jump onto the Hydra, and over here, Mr. Dylan goes like, "What did you say? Are you gonna stab it?"
You gonna stab it?
And I go, "No. No."
You didn't even say that. You just said...
I cast banishment.
You didn't even do... No, it was worse. You went, banishment.
Oh, yeah.
And I went...
I smacked my friend who was next to me and went, banishment.
And my jaw dropped. I rolled the dice. I got a 2.
And it went, boop.
And it disappeared into the astral plane.
Yep.
So this guy...
And now I'm just falling.
To which my NPC responded by grabbing you with lightning.
Which could have caused me to break my concentration.
Or kill you. Oh, it's a concentration spell?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
I got a 20.
Ooh, good. And then he pulled you
should
up.
have just let me be a bird.
Well,
maybe that wouldn't have broken concentration.
You also didn't explain, though.
I didn't explain anything to anyone, because combat isn't roleplay, Dylan. I'm being a hypocrite.
You know your characters can talk as a free action.
Yeah, I know.
To which happened right after I pulled you and let you hang on the ship by just your clawed bird feet.
Everyone was so worried about me dying, which is the first time that's ever happened in D&D.
They're gonna say in real life.
That too.
Oh. I'm glad you never got that far.
Jumping off of a boat.
I meant considering killing yourself and everyone being like, "Yo, dude, don't do that. That ain't cool." Puts on sunglasses that are actually shutter shades. Puts on hat backwards. Crosses arms. Record scratch. Don't do that, dog says. Don't do that.
Oh.
Rides away on skateboard. Trips, falls, hurts knee.
My leg.
My leg.
So anyway, yeah, everyone was so worried about my character dying. One, this was a playtest, so it was non-canonical. So even if I did die, big whoop. Two, even normally, characters don't, my friends, don't often care if my character dies.
Oh, there it goes.
So that was my awakening.
Nobody cares if my character is going to die in my dad's game. Which, that is a tug-of-war thing with D&D, is no matter what you do in that campaign, if you're me, nobody was happy. I'm a fighter.
Right.
Which, for those who don't know, fighter is just, alright, you're fucking bread and butter, got it. I run in, hit things,
Right.
and stay there until it dies from me, right? That's what fighters do. Am I wrong? It's also what barbarians do. And almost monk and rogues, but their other thing is they run away after they hit it. But as a fighter, I have big armor, big shield, big weapon. I smack, I hit, and I wait till it dies. Problem is, I go down because I don't have enough health for obvious reasons, because you never do. And then everyone's like, "Oh, great, he's down again," which became annoying. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna." And this was after I had tried. All right, I'm gonna be ranged and use my cantrips because I'm an Eldritch Knight, which means I have magical powers as a fighter. And everyone was like, "Why aren't you running up and hitting things? That's what you do. You're a fighter. You have a sword." I'm like, "Okay." So I tried being the tank, and nobody was happy still. And I was like, "All right, I'm just gonna sit outside and watch you guys die."
Yeah, as they deserve. But
So instead, I jumped off an airship,
I think you told me this.
and every round, I'm waiting for my dad to explain how much I'm falling. Which, the way he did it wasn't by the books, which is 500 feet around. He did it by genuine calculation, because we were 720 feet in the air.
Right.
I jumped off of that and nearly hit terminal velocity into a ship. Ow, I missed my hand. Into a ship and died. But at last second teleported just enough to go and kill a dude.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to kill everyone on that ship and save the King of the Giants and go with throw up on myself because I hit nearly terminal velocity and failed my save, and so I threw up on myself and only made one attack and went, "It's me, I saved you," with vomit all over my character.
Nice.
Like a baby at the middle of the night who's like, "Mother,
I have thrown up.
I require a change of my diaper.
I have gone stinky in my diaper. Give me a binky or else I will wah wah." That should be just a whole bit.
My little brother, before he turned 2, opens door, but it's like not even like a solid opening. It's just one frame. It's completely open. My brother's hand takes up the entire like a 2x4. Nah, that's long, not wide. A good chunk of the door because his hand grew just to open it like that.
Yeah, like a cartoon.
Yeah, all you can see is a silhouette in the hallway light.
Should I try animating?
No,
Okay.
not
I've
great.
done it before.
Okay.
So
Wait, 2D or 3D?
2D.
Okay, 3D's tedious.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm assuming 2D's worse.
I think it's a different ballpark. You gotta be able to draw, which I can't.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is I can't do that.
Yeah, I try,
Oh, me too.
and people are like, "Oh yeah, if you keep drawing, you'll get better." My sketchbook over there says that. It says otherwise. Do not look at it. Do not look in it.
I'm not going to.
Thank God. Anyways,
Dungeons.
talked about Dungeons, Dragons and Dungeons, right?
Do you want to talk about Dungeons or Dragons now?
We've been going for a good 53 minutes.
Wow. We
Yeah.
can talk about Dragons and Dungeons forever.
It's true. It's honestly true, but let's save that for another episode.
Real quick,
Right?
what's your favorite dragon?
My favorite dragon?
Yeah.
Black dragon.
You have a favorite named dragon?
No. Because I
Okay.
don't know any.
Cool. Why black dragons?
Because I play a sorcerer whose draconic bloodline is Black Dragon. That's the only reason.
I respect it.
It's fun.
Mine's copper. No,
Gotcha.
bronze.
Whenever I play like a
Freaking that up.
whenever I play like a metallic dragonborn or something,
Mm-hmm.
I'll choose brass because I play trumpet.
That's a good reason.
Thank you.
Don't agree, but I understand. Yeah, I play a brass instrument too. It's also classified as a woodwind. It's called a saxophone. The brass clarinet.
I mean, it's just classified as a woodwind.
Which is weird because it's entirely made of brass.
It's made of brass, yes.
Except the mouthpiece.
Yep.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't a trumpet mouthpiece made of not brass?
Trumpet. I mean, if you're
Skip it up, skip it up. I'm the scat man.
Scatman falling downstairs. You seen that?
Skip it up. I
What?
almost peaked. I want to say it's made of mercury.
No.
I was waiting.
Mouth piece.
Oh, the mic is picking that up. Wasn't sure.
Leaded brass. So the mouthpieces are made from brass.
Well, I guess it is a brass instrument. Who's
So,
not?
and brass instruments are surprisingly made with brass. I was not expecting that.
I genuinely wasn't.
Yeah, right?
Did
No.
you sleep with a belt on?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're just younger me. I used to do that.
I'm like 2 years younger than you.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that looks so big.
Huh. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway.
Oh, bronze dragons.
Right.
That's what I wanted to say before we stop.
Yeah.
I like bronze dragons because I like lightning,
Mm-hmm.
and they do lightning stuff, but they're also aquatic.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. Also, bronze is the metal, which, can I just say, metallic dragons don't make sense at all after a certain point, because, okay, you have gold, which is a natural metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have silver, which is a natural metal, right?
Yes.
Bronze is the fusion of brass and copper.
Well, brass is a fusion of, like, zinc and something else.
I wasn't sure, but I didn't think brass was a normal metal either.
Yeah, no, it's not. What is brass made of?
But copper is. Right?
So, yeah, I mean, well, brass is an alloy of copper and zinc.
But copper is its own thing.
Copper, if Minecraft has taught me anything, is natural.
There's copper in Minecraft?
Yeah, in the recent in like 2 updates ago.
I don't play Minecraft, that's why.
Yeah.
I play Chaos Miner Z. I'm a gamer.
Okay, so talked about Dungeons, Dragons, and Dungeons.
Characters too.
That's true. We talked about a lot of things. Here on Stuff, Things, and Stuff, which you should definitely follow and leave a review. Do you got anything to plug? Did you want to plug Glorious Geeks again?
Yeah. Glorious Geeks, they are on US 19 on Coventry.
Huh.
And I memorized that.
Very cool. They deserve it. Yeah. They're very cool.
The owner is awesome, and if you go, tell them Dylan sent you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the general area, which I'm not going to say the general area, but based off of that, you can...
Florida.
Somewhere in Florida. And if you're in the Panhandle and want to make like a 27-hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Worth it. But, yeah, just look up Glorious Geeks. They have an Instagram, right?
I don't think they have it. Do they have an Instagram?
They have an Instagram. It says it on the counter every time I go in there. They
I
like
thought
follow
that-
my Instagram. It's an independent like game store, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
his own thing.
It's independent, so you don't only like get your RPG books, but you also support, local business. And what's the guy's name? Ken.
Ken. So the Instagram is The Glorious Geeks.
Is it the underscore glorious underscore geeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you do follow.
Yes, I do.
And now I do.
Nice. They got a bunch of stuff. They got dice. They got books. Would recommend. Very cool. Do you got anything else?
I'd like to say thank you to my father who got me so invested in D&D. I would like to say you guys should check out Hero Forge if you're interested in creating a miniature.
Mm-hmm.
Or want to play D&D.
Right.
And then, want to plug my Instagram at Dylan LaRue Smith.
Right. And then for me, Just look up Luigi Choco on literally anything and you'll find me. It's LuigiChoco. Link will be in the description. And check out my YouTube, which I haven't posted in like over a year.
Wait, can we also plug Subway?
I feel like last episode was enough of a plug of Subway.
No. Subway's the only reason I'm alive right now.
You're right.
I got off work, got a sub, got a drink. I'm happy.
That's
I'm
fair.
looking at the logo. It just says Sub. Well, yeah, I can't see the AY.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at it.
You're right. I'm looking at Subway. I get to see all of it. Yes, go check out last episode where we had Hayden on.
We talked about, what was it?
Nintendo Subway, or Nintendo Sandwiches and Nintendo was the episode.
That's what I
But this has been Stuff, Things, and Stuff, where we talk about
stuff,
things,
and stuff,
and, Dungeons.
Dragons.
And Dungeons. So, thank you again for listening. Follow us, leave us a review, and we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Good night.